Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about a really unique chord. It's unique in that it's not a chord you're probably going to play in a real life situation unless you're playing really advanced music. But learning to practice with this chord will open up the fretboard really like nothing else. We started with major and minor triads, then I taught you the dominant seven. From the dominant seven, every chord is essentially built upon the dominant seven. Remember when we did minor sevens, we moved one finger back and we turned a dominant seven into a minor seven. When we did major sevens, we moved one finger forward and turned a dominant seven into a major seven. Today we're going to move two fingers. Don't freak out. We're only going to move each finger one fret. And if you know your dominant sevens, which if you don't, go back and review, and there's a link to a chord chart in the show notes, so if this doesn't make sense to you, look at it and just fool around with it till you figure it out. We're going to now move two fingers, two frets back from a dominant seven. It is the minor seven flat five. Now, why in the world would you want to learn a chord that you don't really use in real life? Well, think about it this way. We know we've been talking about the C scale. We'll stay in the key of C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. What if you can play chords and you can go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C. Well, we can start here on I don't even know, the E. And all the fingers are moving together. Well, that would be a chord scale. See, okay, let me put it in context. Let's say I'm playing the C and I'm playing the E. Two notes of the C chord. I want to move up to a D chord. Well, I can't go to, because that would be an F sharp. There's no F sharp in the C major scale. So that dictates that this becomes a D minor. So I've gone from C major to D minor, E minor. You see, those now I'm playing the same scale on two strings at the same time, and I'm playing two notes of a chord. Well, using the seven chords, because they're four-note chords, we can play a chord scale all the way up and down the neck. When you do that, it's a great exercise. Yes, it teaches you where all and the relationship of the chords to where your fingers are on the fretboard, and you get everything coordinated together, and you understand the relationship of the notes to each other as you move up. But the main thing is, we can play those as single notes, and that's called an arpeggio or broken chord. I'm going to do a video, don't worry, just here in a few minutes, on the basics of arpeggio playing. This unlocks the instrument. And if you don't know the minor 7 flat 5, you can't do it. So that's why you want to know the minor 7 flat 5. Because just like how when we went from C to D, it became a minor chord. When we get to the 7th of the scale, that's of course the B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. B is the 7th note. The B needs to stay in the key of C, we have to alter three notes really, in the chord of, say, B major 7. We need to move the 7 back to a flat 7. We need to move the 5 back to a flat 5. We need to move the 3 back to a flat 3. So if we just play a B dominant 7, we move two fingers back. It's really that simple. It may sound complicated. In practice, it's really, really not. Okay? I'm going to show you 4 shapes of the B minor 7. Well, I'm going to show you 4 shapes of a minor 7 flat 5 chord. I'm going to show it, these are all going to be C's. Now, when you play a scale, you change keys, you'll just move these around so that what I show you in, say, with C on top becomes a D minor 7 flat 5 if you move it up 2 frets. It becomes a B minor 7 flat 5 if you move it down 1 fret. So no big deal, okay? 3-note chords are easier. They're a little harder to wrap your mind around. I may just stick with, no, I'll try to show you the 3-note chords anyway, so you can use, you know, you can get lower on the neck and then move up. All right, like I said, much harder to say than it is to play. So remember our C dominant 7, and you can refer to that video and you can get the chord chart if you need it. That's the C on top, okay? The 1 is on top. That's C, G, B flat, and E. Now, I'm going to shift the 3 and 5 back 1 notch. So my G is going to come back 1, and my E is going to come back 1, and it actually becomes a fairly easy chord to play because it's just... And now you know why you don't really hear this chord a lot in practical music that you would play. It sounds a little funny, but all we've done is pulled the 5 back and the 3 back. It's a minor 7 flat 5. Alright, now let's find the C with the 3rd on top. That is, of course, E, C, D, E. And it's here. That's your dominant 7. Now let's pull those 2 fingers back 1 fret each. And that's going to be, let's see, we'll start with the E, of course. That's where my ring finger is. Pull it back 1. The G, pull it back 1. And we got... Okay? And that's so super simple. That's E flat. That is B flat. That is C and G flat. Let's find the 5th. That's going to be with a G on top. You play it like this. Dominant 7. Now let's pull back the E. So just pull your 1st finger back. Now we're in the minor 7 position. Now let's pull the 5th back. So I'll just reverse my fingers. And I'm now in the, yeah, like there. That's the way I'd finger that one. Just play C, of course, G flat, E flat, and B flat. No, it sounds funny, but this will make a ton of sense when we start putting it in context. And then, of course, the last one would be the 7th note on top with the, which is your B flat. Now let's pull the E back. I guess this is my E, is that right? Yep. So let's pull the E back. So now we got here, and now let's pull the G back to here. Really super simple. I mean, when you look at it this way, it makes total sense. And when we get into chord scales and arpeggios, that's where this is really going to shine, because it will allow you to solo like a pro. Okay. Now, if I'm going to reduce these to 3-note chords, remember we're going to drop 1 note because these are 4-note chords. So I'm going to drop a note. I'm going to play my C7 here, and I've only got a 3rd in here. My E is sitting here, so I'm going to pull it back, and I'm just play the C minor 7. Leave the G off. Leave the 5 off. So this is a chord we already know. We know how to play a C minor 7. From the E, I think that's right. Is that the E? No, that's it. Yeah. So with the 3rd on top, I've got my, of course I need to move the 3 back. My 1 is sitting up here on the 4th string, and this is a B flat. So this time we're going to leave, again, we're leaving the 5th off. So again, we're just going to play a minor 7 chord. And to the ear, in context, it would sound like a minor 7 flat 5, even though the 5's not being played at all. Alright, now let's get our 5. This is the dominant 7 here. Well, it's kind of well, I just leave the I leave the 7 off actually. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flat the 5 by moving my G note back to G flat, leave the C where it is, and take my E down to E flat. That's a chord that wants to be resolved very badly. It wants to move up. Okay. And what, the B7, I guess I've got it here, and I'm just going to play 3-note B7. I mean, C7 with the B flat on top, the dominant 7 of the C. Alright, so already got this flatted. This is an E, we'll move it back 1. You can put 2 fingers side by side, it's much easier to bar across for most people. And then this is a G, so yeah, that is a chord that really wants to resolve into a C. See, you can really hear it. And now you can kind of see why we do this. Again, it's only a matter of making a dominant 7 chord, moving the 5th back, well, move the 3rd back, move the 5th back, I guess if you want to put it in order. But you're moving 2 fingers, 1 fret each. And with a little practice, it'll come to you very easily. And when we get into arpeggios, it's going to make total sense. Let me see if I can just give you a little example, and I'll do a whole video on this next. So, no. You see how I'm, and now yeah, it's starting to make sense, right? Well, I think I was a little bit off on that one. But anyway, as we go up, those notes will be the notes of each chord as well. So I'm playing C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G dominant 7, that was the one I think I screwed up on, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and C. So if you don't have the B minor 7 flat 5, we can't finish the scale. And when you're playing an arpeggio style, it becomes so easy because you're just let me find a B. Yeah, that's no here. You know, G, A, B. Yeah. And super simple, right? But when we play all those chords together, it becomes a B minor 7 flat 5. Hope that made sense, and I know you probably will have some questions on that one. Email me, judson@judsoncarroll.com, and I will put the chord chart in the show notes. It's public domain, it's not mine, I didn't put it together. Maybe if you see it, it'll be easier to understand than hearing it, but this is going to be foundational for moving forward from this point.